Hello students, today we are going to study Quit India movement. This is the third video of chapter Mahatma Gandhi and the National Movement. Basically, whichever movement Gandhiji has done, that we have covered in this particular chapter. So the three major movements which he has led, that was the non-cooperation movement, civil disobedience movement, and now today we are going to discuss Quit India movement. So, Quit India, as the name suggests. So, yes, the Indian nationalists, the Indian leaders, and the people, masses, they started demanding Britishers to quit India. Now, so therefore, this movement is known as the Quit India movement. The Working Committee of Congress passed a resolution on July 14, 1942 at Varda. The resolution demanded that the British rule in India be ended immediately, giving India independence. Okay, so the Quit India movement was started in the year 1942. Let me tell you, children, this is the time period when Britishers were already involved, or they were already busy in the Second World War. As we know, the Second World War started in the year 1939 and it ended in 1945. So here 1942 was somewhere in middle of that Second World War which was going on in the world, and British was part of the Second World War. Therefore they were busy in that, and this was the best time to demand for our independence for our nation. So it was decided to start a nationwide non-violent movement under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi. The movement gave the slogan Quit India or Bharat Chodo. Gandhiji gave the slogan to the people, do or die. There were the two causes which has led this movement initiate to start. That was the failure of Crips Mission and Japanese threat. Now before we know what was the failure of Crips Mission, we should know what was actually Crips Mission. So Crips Mission was sent by the British government to India in March 1942 to obtain Indian cooperation for the British war efforts in the Second World War. Basically, Britishers wanted Indian support during the Second World War, and they wanted to settle down the matter. Therefore, they sent a Crips Mission, but uh, it was unsuccessful. The mission was unsuccessful because it could not cater the needs of the demands and problems of the Indians. So the purpose of Crips mission, Britain suffered many losses in Southeast Asia, and Japan's threat to invade India seemed real for them. Hence Britain wanted India's support. Then Britain was pressurized by the allies, especially the countries USA, USSR and China, to seek India's cooperation. Therefore, Britishers needed India's support. Indian nationalists had agreed to support the Allied as they hoped for immediate transfer of substantial power and complete independence after the war. So therefore, this Crips mission has came to India or to settle down the matters, but it was a failure. Now the failure of Crips mission. The Crips mission was a failed attempt in late March 1942 by the British government to secure full Indian cooperation and support for their efforts in Second World War. The mission was headed by a senior minister, Sir Stafford Cripps. Cripps was sent to negotiate an agreement with the Nationalist Congress and Muslim League. Cripps worked to keep India loyal to the British war efforts in exchange for a promise of elections and full self-government, that was the dominant status once the war was over. So why actually the Cripps mission failed? Because Cripps mission promised that after the war, and after the war India would get the dominant status, but here now Indians were not in a mood to agree for the dominant status because they wanted complete independence from the Britishers. Okay, so therefore the Cripps mission failed. Both the major parties rejected his proposals. No middle way was found and this mission failed. Japanese threat. The Second World War had started in year 1939, as I have told you, and Japan, which was the part of the Axis powers, Now Japan was on the other side of the group which was fighting in the Second World War. Britain was on the other side and Japan was on the opposite side. So Axis powers that was opposed to the British in the war were gaining onto the northeastern frontiers of India. So Japan was the country which was the opponent of Britishers, was now leading towards to the northeastern areas of India. For what? To acquire those areas. The British had abandoned their territories in Southeast Asia and had left the population in the lurch. Now, what is lurch? Lurch is an uncontrolled movement of series of movement. So, Britishers, whichever territories they were having in Southeast Asia, they left their territories in their own hands, and they did not support the territories which were acquired by Japan. Okay, so this act did not garner much faith among the Indians population, who had doubt about the British ability to defend India against Axis aggression. So now India was also threatened that if Japan would do the same thing to India as well, then India will be facing lots of problem. Then Gandhi also believed that if the British left India, Japan would not have enough reason to invade India. And this was the reason why India could be saved from the invasion of Japan. So therefore, then and there, Gandhiji started demanding Britishers to quit India. Therefore, he initiated the movement, Quit India movement. Okay. Now, Quit India resolution. On August 4, 1942, resolution was passed at Bombay session of All India Congress Committee. In his Quit India speech that day at Gwalior Tank, Bombay, and Gandhi told Indians to follow non-violent civil disobedience. He told the masses to act as an independent nation. Though we were not independent at that time, but still he told the masses, to the people, to act like an Indian independent nation. The draft proposed massive civil disobedience if the British did not accede to the demands. He told that if the demands will not be accepted by the Britishers, then huge level civil disobedience will be followed under this movement. Response to Quit India movement. The British government responded to the call of Gandhi by arresting all major Congress leaders the very next day. So as soon as the call started or the movement started, all the major leaders of Indian National Congress were arrested, including Gandhiji. So Gandhi, Nehru, Patel, etc. were all arrested. This left the movement in hands of the younger leaders like Jay Prakash Narayan and Ram Manohar Lohia. New leaders like Aruna Asaf Ali emerged out of the vacuum of leadership. There were mass flogging and lathi charges. Even women and children were not spared. So you can see very vigorous suppression was done by the Britishers at that time. So a lot of suppression was done, and Britishers tried to control Indians, and they wanted to suppress the movement. The Indian National was banned, and its leader were jailed for almost the whole of the war. Gandhi was released on the health grounds in 1944. Some parties did not support the movement. There were opposition from the Muslim League, the Communist Party of India, and Hindu Mahasabha. Now, why Muslim League was opposing this movement, Quit India movement? Because they wanted partition of the country, which was not declared under the Quit India movement. So in places, parallel governments were also set up, like example Balia, Tamluk and Satara. So all these were the programs of Quit India movement. Then the impact of the movement. It was evident that British would no longer find possible to rule India against the wishes of the people. Now it was the final call for the Britishers, because they knew that now onwards they will not be able to prolong their rule in India, and they will be able to suppress the Indians from giving their independence. Then it was a mass uprising before attaining independence. movement strengthened the Congress Socialist Party. And after suppression of the Quit India movement, the constitutional question remained dormant till the close of war 1945. So till 1945, after the movement suppression, no other political incident has taken place. Okay, so the movement was short-lived, but still it aroused spirit of total sacrifice and dedication for the country. So love for nation was still prevailing in the country, and people were ready to sacrifice their life for the country. So that was the Quit India movement, children. With this I conclude the chapter. Thank you.